Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for the City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Andy Radig, joined today by your City Manager for the City of Oshkosh, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here today.
Great to be here, Andy.
All right, thanks. And today we'll talk about some municipal highlights in the first half of the program. And then the second half will come back after a short break and talk about some agenda highlights from the Tuesday, November 10th Common Council meeting that will be carried live here on GovTV. So Mark, we've got a lot to talk about today. It looks like our first item that we're talking about is our recent election, and we had some record turnout.
What a great turnout we had. Amazing. Pam Ubrig, our city clerk, gave me some wonderful statistics. First of all, voter turnout, 88%. Congratulations to everybody. That's outstanding.
That's great.
That shows you're engaged in local and national affairs, and that's great. We had over 20,000 people do early or absentee voting, and that represents 55% of all the votes cast. So we had all the votes ready to go, in here, ready to start counting before Election Day even started. So that was great. And then the other statistic that I was very proud of our clerk staff, all counting was done here in Oshkosh by 9:45 p.m. And that includes all of those 20,000 early votes as well.
Okay.
Pam and her staff had a system developed. They couldn't start counting until 7 a.m. on Tuesday, but they developed a system that they could get these counted as soon as possible. So everything was over to the county clerk's office by 9:45. Now I will say Pam and her staff were here much later than that.
Sure.
Doing a lot of administrative work, making sure that things were all in order and everything. But the counting was done less than 2 hours after polls closed. Very pleased with that, very proud of the work that they did.
Excellent. And the total registered voters in the city of Oshkosh is 36,518. And so we really had, quite a great turnout.
It really was, and so we're very pleased. Glad everybody was able to participate, and the early voting worked, and we're pleased with that as well.
Okay, excellent. And Mark, recently a new media campaign has been launched in Oshkosh called the Love Oshkosh campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about the background of this?
This started with a community discussion that the city council had with a lot of our business community, our health care community, as well as just other people that want to promote Oshkosh.
Okay.
And one of the outcomes of this was Amy Albright, the
Convention
Visitors Bureau Executive Director, agreed to work with council members Allison Osby and Ford on a campaign to get everybody on the same page in terms of we know what we need to do to help reduce the spread of COVID, and let's be positive as possible about it. And so they started a campaign where they had community leaders, community members share why they practice safe, healthy habits, and then promote it as much as possible. So it's
Here's
called...
their logo.
There's the logo. It's called the Love Oshkosh campaign, a little play on our logo. I'm the guy in the lower left-hand corner, but we had lots of different people. Mayor Palmieri, several other members of the council, business people, community members, your friends, your neighbors, saying why they want to stay safe and love local. You know, if you're concerned about going out, it's understandable, but what can we do to make it safe so you'll be willing to go out? A lot of positive comments that we've received from people about wanting to be part of this. So it was funded through some CARES money that the city received, but it was managed by Amy at the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay.
And she leveraged a lot of what we did as goodwill towards getting other people. The masks that you saw that some of the people are sporting have been donated by 4 Imprint, so we appreciate a local company committed to making this work. And we're real excited about the campaign.
And this is really based on social media to a large extent. So if you look for their Love Oshkosh social media and Facebook page, you'll be able to find updates from them, what they're working on, and you can see all the different folks that are involved. And I also understand that if you send them a message through their Facebook page, that you can actually send them your address, and they'll send you one of those masks that you saw a little bit earlier, with branded with the Love Oshkosh logo, and they'll send that out and get more folks involved.
So we're so pleased that people came together and said, "Look, we need to do this for our community." Businesses are hurting. There's no question about that, and we want to do everything we can to help them out. And appreciate the businesses that have been engaged in doing this as well. We also have Dr. John Newman from Advocate Aurora Health doing a Wednesday show with Bob Rennell from WOSH to just talk about it in general, but it's all the basics. Yeah. Wear a mask, socially distant, wash your hands. Those three those three are really key to helping all of us. And that will help keep businesses open. So we hope people will take this in the spirit it's intended and really help us out.
Absolutely. And Oshkosh Media is also proud to be supportive of the Love Oshkosh campaign, so keep an eye on our social media and we'll pass along updates from them as well. So Mark, another very nice thing that happened recently, our fire chief, Mike Stanley, was recognized with a National Fallen Firefighter Foundation Award. And that was there was an event that happened on October 28th, and it was a surprise for him.
It sure was. We made sure that Chief Stanley knew nothing about this, and you guys helped keep a lid on it, making sure the media didn't get it out. But we surprised Chief Stanley. He was nominated by local resident Jennifer Skolaski, who's been working with us on a fall prevention program to assist seniors. And the whole idea was, what can we do as a community to, we get a lot of fire calls, medical calls, because people have fallen. And if we can prevent that, that keeps residents in their home longer. And so we had a great event over at the station. The National Fallen Firefighter Foundation Award is sponsored by Maglite, the flashlight folks. And so they were there as well. And in addition to the fall prevention program, the chief was very engaged since the COVID emergency started. He's done a couple things. One was to work with the day-by-day shelter to keep it open a little longer as the spring if things extended into the spring. Did a lot of cooperative stuff with other local fire agencies, and so the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation felt this was worthy of national recognition, and we were quite proud. Chief Stanley got a little ceremonial light, but his name will also be at the NFFF memorial, and his name will be entered in there with the Oshkosh Fire Department name next to it. So we're real pleased and proud of Chief Stanley for this recognition.
Absolutely, it's a proud event for Oshkosh. And also just a side note that the program that you just saw the photos from that will be carried on Oshkosh Media Gov TV. You can look for schedules and find when that's listed. And it's also on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel, so take a look. Mark, there's also been a request for proposals released for community gardens in Oshkosh. 5 sites, and the Redevelopment Authority and the city are involved in this.
Well, the Redevelopment Authority periodically acquires properties that have been declared blighted, typically clear the lot. They would love to see these developed for maybe future housing or something like that, but sometimes the market isn't there for it, and in other cases, the timing's not right for it. So we have these properties available, and you can see them on the map. They're kind of scattered throughout the city, but the idea is to seek proposals from community groups that may want to put together a community garden. And really what a community garden is one larger group will take responsibility to oversee the awarding of garden plots for people. but members of the community, if maybe their yard isn't big enough, they live in an apartment or something like that, they want to have a garden area where they can grow and enjoy the fruits of their labor, literally.
Sure, literally.
And so we're going to be taking proposals and asking people to give us what ideas they would have for a community garden, maybe what little features, how they would engage the community. So we've got the request for proposals out. We're encouraging people to contact our community development department with that. There's different options that we would consider, but we've got 5 sites, and we want people to take a look at them and see if they'd be willing to partner with us to have a community garden in their neighborhood.
Sure, sure. And that application is available on the economic development page on the City of Oshkosh website. So you can find that there. There are also options for sale or lease of the properties. And folks just need to follow all the zoning and land requirements like usual with that. So definitely try to promote better health habits and also an interest in community gardening on the behalf of local residents there. So I believe the deadline for those applications is late November, but more information is available on that website. So Mark, then also recently we had a special event over at the Oshkosh Senior Center. They had their Day of Caring virtual event that was on Facebook Live. I had the privilege of helping them out with that event and hosting. And you were one of the many guests. They had different guests every 15 minutes for a 4-hour marathon, basically. So, but it was a great event, and it was something new.
I think you were busy for 4 hours. That was a lot. You appreciate the work that somebody putting on a telethon does. You only did it for 4 hours. I was only on it for 15 minutes. But it was for the Friends of the Senior Center, right, because they haven't been able to have their traditional fundraising events. So this was one way to do their fundraising. So I was on there just talking about the larger city perspective, why it's important for the Senior Center to exist. Jean Wallerman, our Senior Services Manager, was there talking about the programs that she's still running even during COVID.
Right.
It's not as elaborate,
right,
but it's very targeted, and there's some great services we're still providing. They raised some good money, several $1,000s. They're still tallying it all up, so we're very appreciative that the Friends of the Senior Center think so highly of our Senior Center that they want to help the center get along better. They're going to use, you can use the Senior Center right now, right, for fitness equipment, nail care, and the Connect Through Tech program, which is a great program. We got a grant to connect our seniors with the use of technology to stay better connected. The timing has been great in terms of making this available, teaching people how to use technology to stay in touch with their family and things like that. If they're intimidated by technology, we help them get through that. So we're real pleased with that. And if you want to go over to the Senior Center, I believe that the number is 232-5300, and you can find out what services you can still get at the Senior Center right now. If you need some services, we will do our best to connect you with those services.
Absolutely. And so that is a reminder that the Senior Center is open, and they don't accept walk-ins right now, but you can call that number 232-5300 and make an appointment to use that fitness equipment or get involved in the Connect Through Tech program. So very good things happening over there at the Senior Center. Another thing, talking about recreation and exercise, Lakeshore Park. There's the public input is open for some proposals for improvements over there at Lakeshore Park.
Yeah, the Parks Advisory Board had adopted a master plan, but now it's time to get into the details for Phase 1. There's limited funds, so we're trying to get some input. These are some photos from the general master plan for that. But the Phase 1 development is going to include a year-round use pavilion with amenities surrounding it near the east side. So we're looking for ideas of what people think. Now we're putting plans to paper, so we really do need this. And so the Advisory Park Board will take all that input, and they'll use it for giving the consultant who's designing this some ideas on what features we should specifically have at the first phase of improvements.
And one of the things recently was there was a ribbon cutting for the Lakeshore River Walk, and we're seeing it right here. So there's a lot going on over there.
There is, and the weather is about beautiful right now. So before it turns sour,
as we tape this, right?
As we tape it, I encourage people to get out there, see what this is like. It connects to the Tribal Heritage Trail as well.
Right.
Really cool connection. Very enjoyable. Biking, inline skating, walking, running, strollering, dog walking, you name it, you can do it over there. So, and you'll get this, take a look at the backside of the Oshkosh Corporation global headquarters as well. So, a lot of neat features. That bridge is wonderful to get you over to the Tribal Heritage Bridge.
Right. That's a great connection to be able to get to that other bridge over there. And in this video, we're seeing that those trees have a lot of leaves on them, but since then, a lot of leaves have fallen, and actually our loose leaf collection is underway in Oshkosh right now. So it happens the primary day for it is for collection is the day after your trash pickup.
Yeah, so be on the lookout, but leaves only. Don't put grass, brush your garden plants, and put your leaves on the terrace. Please do not rake them into the road, and we will come in. We got a big truck comes by and sucks it all up and takes it away for you. Please take a look at the website if you want any more information. But get your leaves out by 7 a.m. on the collection day, again, the day after your normal garbage day. And it's going to end the week of November 16th through 20th. So we only have a couple weeks left.
Right.
So I think most of your leaves should be done by then.
I think so. And with the recent nice weather, hopefully folks had a good opportunity to get out there and get their leaves raked up. So Mark, it looks like that's about what we have for the first half of the program today. We'll take a short break right now, and then we'll come back and talk about some agenda highlights from the upcoming Tuesday, November 10th Common Council meeting. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Face real challenges this year, and the virus continues to spread in our state. But each of us has it in our power to turn things around. We did it on our UW campuses. It's time to mask up, buckle down, wash your hands, maintain social distance. Come on, Wisconsin. Together, we can do this.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks all healthy donors to schedule an appointment to give now. With the coronavirus outbreak, it is important to maintain a sufficient blood supply. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Andy Radig, joined today by your City Manager for the City of Oshkosh, Mark Roloff. Mark, now we'll talk about some agenda highlights from the upcoming meeting. And our first item is approving an agreement for sidewalk snow and ice removal.
This is our annual program where if folks don't remove snow and ice from their sidewalks within 24 hours after a storm's ended, and we get a call from a neighbor that sidewalk hasn't been done, we send out a contractor to do this. I would love nothing more than to spend nothing on this contract, but unfortunately we do have people that aren't as diligent getting snow and ice removed. So even though the weather is real nice right now, please know that you should get your sidewalks cleared within 24 hours after snowfall. And then if when you're shoveling, don't cover the fire hydrants, don't throw snow in the street. You're just going to be repeating that. Mm-hmm. Our contractor will go out there, and if we notice that somebody else has not been called in, but they're also there, they're going to remove from your property as well. So please be very diligent as winter starts, and be courteous to your neighbors and get the snow removed, because we really don't want to send out the contractor to clean up your snow. Do it yourself and you'll be okay.
Right. It'll be here sooner than we know, unfortunately. Yes. Then we have another item. I believe that the city received an Economic Development Administration grant for some improvements over at the Southwest Industrial Park, I believe.
Yeah, this is our transload facility. We opened it a couple years ago, and it's been very well received. This is where trucks can load rail cars to send their product to market via rail. The road you see there that's unpaved is the road that is going to get paved through this grant.
Okay.
So we're really excited that the Economic Development Administration, the EDA, has awarded us a grant of about $1.5 million to get this done. So we're going to be awarding a bid for a little, about $2.6 million, of which most of it's going to get covered by the EDA grant, and that will basically pave the road so it's easier to get in and out of there. There'll be a little circle so the trucks can get in and out very easily.
Okay. And
then a deceleration lane over on Clairville Drive to get it in and out. So we're real excited that the transload facility is very popular. Wisconsin Southern Railroad, Watco, the company that operates the rail, they also operate the transload facility. They've been a great promoter for our industrial park, and they've gotten landowners in there purchasing because of the access to this transload facility. It's a great feature to get products to market, and we're excited to be part of this.
Yeah, that's a unique facility for Oshkosh.
It's a unique facility. It is the only publicly owned transload facility in the state, and we're really proud of that as well. So, if you're not in business and moving things through rail, you may not appreciate it as much, but it is great for our local economy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And recently we've been talking about the new fire department training tower, and there's an item on the agenda for some fencing over there.
Yeah, the fencing improvements are actually the cover on the fence itself. The fence is already there. We did the time lapse when we were putting the concrete down and before the tower was put up, and you can see the fencing. It's right across from some neighbors, and we want it to be good neighbors. And so did the Plan Commission. Plan Commission was very insistent that we put some covering for that fencing that you see there in this photograph, and it will shield the facility from the neighbors, so it's not as obtrusive to them. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to be good neighbors, and so we're spending about $37,000 on this, but we think it's a good way to have this facility mesh well with the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. That'll be moving along very shortly here. And then we have another item relating to the flashing beacons over at, I believe it's one of the roundabout crosswalks. And there's some, basically that's being put into place.
Yeah, we had a grant from the Aging Disability Resource Center with Winnebago County, the ADRC. Mm-hmm. They had some clients of theirs that said that the roundabout at Washburn and 9th could really use some RDFBs, the rectangular rapidly flashing beacons.
Okay.
We had accepted the grant at the last council meeting, but now we have the approval of the purchase. It's about $50,000. That's how much ADRC is giving us for this. And what this does is it warns traffic to be on the lookout. And it's tough for people to cross, for pedestrians to cross at these roundabouts. This is the example over there on Congress Avenue near the Congress Avenue Bridge. Mm-hmm. There's also one there at Murdoch and Jackson Street. So we know that that these are effective ways to warn traffic that pedestrians, bicyclists are in the area. And so we're real excited. We're going to see how it works over there. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty busy roundabout over there at 9th and Washburn, but we think it'll help improve safety.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything that we can do to help improve safety is definitely worth doing. So then we have another item. This is probably a large item that we have here on the agenda. We've been talking quite a bit about the budget process for quite a few shows at this point, and it looks like this item actually wraps up the budget process. Is that correct?
I would say this is the culmination of our budget process. We just had the public hearing the other day,
right,
and a final budget workshop with the council. But this is to adopt the 2021 annual operating budget and the property tax levy for the city of Oshkosh, along with our capital improvement projects, the getting the improvements funding, the funding plan for all of our capital improvements. So we've been working on this for 3+ months, and happy to finally get it adopted.
Right, absolutely. So we can dive into this a little bit more. I know that there are different revenues that come into the city and expenditures. Can you talk a little bit to, maybe starting off with the revenues and where things are at?
Yeah, I think it's important for people to recognize where we get the bulk of our funds from. And so the little chart we have here, the two largest revenue sources are our property tax, which I think is covered up by our logo there, but property taxes is about 45% of our general fund budget, and then intergovernmental revenues. What you don't see there are things like sales tax, income tax, gas tax.
Right.
The city doesn't collect those taxes. Those are collected by the state and then redistributed through what are called intergovernmental revenues. And it shows that we're 34% of our general fund, our basic services, come from intergovernmental revenues. Those revenues have continued to get reduced by the state, even when sales and income taxes continue to rise. Okay. We've had a little drop down in recent months because of COVID, but for the last decade, we've seen nothing but increases in those areas. When the state doesn't increase intergovernmental revenues, when they don't share revenue that's supposed to be shared, sales tax, income tax, gas tax, when they don't share it, what happens? We end up having to increase your property tax levy. And frankly, our property taxes are too high, but the state doesn't give us our fair share of those other revenues, so it hurts us. So where does this revenue go? What does it fund? Well, in our general fund, 60% of our general fund expenditures are public safety. That's police, that's fire, that's emergency medical services. And then you can see public works is a big chunk of that, along with general government, which is overhead for all of our operations. But you see that the bulk of it's public safety. And a lot of people don't realize that. Certainly I'm a little biased because I've been doing this for a long time, but our police, fire, and public works, those are what I call the big three. They are funded primarily through property taxes, and I think you get a pretty good value for what you pay in property taxes. So let me just give you a few statistics of where general fund expenditures are going. Our levy is going up about 3%. For the tax rate itself, it's going up about 24 cents per thousand. Dollar-wise is really what I think is important to point out.
Okay.
For a house that's valued at $150,000, that's actually a little higher than our average here in Oshkosh.
Okay.
Your taxes are going to go up about $35.79 on a $150,000 valued house. That's less than $3 a month.
Okay.
Now what we did was we took that annual tax bill and we said, what does that come to monthly? It comes to $139.27. So think about all the bills you pay and how much those things cost you when you're sitting there looking at your own household budget. And look at the services. The two at the top are debt service and capital improvements. Those are for streets, parks improvements, buildings, things like that. It's about 30% of your whole tax bill, but it's just slightly over $40 a month. Another $40 goes for police and fire. So, you've got 70% of your tax bill already burned up through those three. Then other things, public works, library, of course, general government, garbage collection. A lot of people talk about garbage collection. It costs you less than $5 a month for garbage collection services. Transit, there's other services here that I'm sure you can say, well, I never use them, but there's services that are available to the whole public. And while you may not use all of these things, you don't use all the channels on your cable TV either, but you still pay a single price. I think you get some pretty good value. Look at senior services. We were just talking about that earlier, and it's a service that we have. So I think we provide pretty good value, Andy.
I would say so. That's a pretty good breakdown of all the value. So, Mark, that's about the time that we have for today. And so folks can tune into the Common Council meeting on Tuesday, November 10th, watch live on GovTV, Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Thanks again for joining us today. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Stay safe and stay well.